right, everybody. Hang on a second. All right, welcome everyone. Today to the Success Meetup, and I'll do my little spiel to begin with. We do these on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 Eastern. If you are watching this later on YouTube, scan that QR code and register and attend live with us. We would love to see you here. So I am going to, let's see, got my share and say hi to everybody. I hope everybody's having a great summer. Today we're going to talk about sending out some mass texting to your database to start some conversations. And we are going to do it in a way that's a little different. And so I wanted to pull up my little document I had. I can find it. Here it is. Let me take the rest of this down. Take the rest of this down. Put this over here and share my screen with you guys. So I will share this link out to you guys too. Here, let me share my screen. And I'll share this with everybody. You guys have it. And I'll also put this in the description on YouTube when I post it. There you go. So today we're going to talk about sending a linkless text message. And so I know in the past, I know I promoted it a ton. In kvCORE, you can send people lists of properties, squeeze pages, landing pages, things to drive them back to your website. And we do that a ton in kvCORE to like drive them back. But in this day and age, what's beginning to happen, and you might know this, is that the deliverability of texting and mass texting in particular has really starting to diminish. And it's because, spam, people don't want spam. And so there's a few things that we've done at kvCORE to kind of help with that and bring us into compliance. So one of those is when you send a text message out, there will always be an opt-out message attached to it. The exception of that rule is if someone has replied to you from that. So if they've replied back to you and said yes or yay or whatever it is they said to you, and you're having a conversation back and forth with them, we're not going to put that opt-out messaging in every single time. I think it's 30 or 60 days. If you guys haven't had a text exchange, it will put it back in. But when you are talking back and forth with somebody, it's not always adding that. But we do add that. It keeps us compliant. It also, whenever you have that kind of opt-out messaging in there, it helps with your deliverability. So that's really important. The other thing that just recently happened, and I know people were not jazzed about it, but it really was something we had to do, was that for any contacts that you've imported into kvCORE, you can't mass text them until they've opted into texting, and that would be by them sending you a text. So you can still text them, but you just can't mass text them. And that's important because what was happening was people would just buy lists of people off the internet and then they'd send it, and then it would be all of these like bounces and spam, and our servers were being kind of seen as spam. And so we didn't want that to happen anymore. So that's kind of some of the things that we put in place. But one of the other things that's happening a lot is, and I know this, if you get text messages all the time, I'm sure people find your number somehow, and you get spam texting, is putting in a link in your text messaging can definitely be seen as spam more often than not putting a link in. And so for people that you're not having a regular conversation with, kind of leads that are in your database that you're not talking with on a regular basis, these people might either see your text as spam just in their own mind because there's a link in there and people are like, oh, I don't want to click a link. I don't want to click a link because I don't know what that's going to do to my phone, or I don't know what kind of malware is going to come on here if I click this link. And also different phones and different filtering situations might see the link and just throw it right into their spam. I didn't even realize this until like a couple months ago that I have a whole spam folder on my phone for text messages. And so people might not ever even see your text message because it might go to their kind of text spam filter. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about using some text messaging that has no links in it at all. We can give them those links after they say yes or ask for it or whatever, but we want to definitely not put we're not going to put a link in there to begin with. The other thing that it does is that it establishes a connection and a response. So if you have a lead that you've never talked to on text messaging and you send them, something, even if the reply is no, even if the reply is no, thank you, I'm not interested right now, whatever it is, because they've received a text from you and they have replied to that text, you are now a conversation in their list of text messages. Like if you go on your phone and you see all your conversations, it's in there. So the next thing you send, maybe it does have a link in it. It's much more likely to go through. It's much more likely for them to see it because you've already established that connection, that response and that conversation on their phone, and their phone sees your phone number as safe, if that makes sense. So who are we going to send these text messages to? Well, we are going to send them to, actually, let me go out of there. We're going to use your filters. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about filters before we even got to the text messaging. And I accidentally closed down my KV course. I have to get that back up. So give me just a second. Go here. All right. So we're going to talk about what we're going to do with your filtering, right? So in your filters, you can filter for anything you want. And so today we're going to talk about some different text messages that you might send to sellers, some different text messages that you might send to buyers, some text messages that you might send to people who have a specific hashtag that maybe you haven't ever gotten a text back from. You've never talked to them on text before, those kinds of things. So let's just go back to, let's go back to here. So we're going to send, these are just some examples of things that we can send. And so you can send things asking them some kind of question. You want to get some kind of response for them. Are you thinking about, are you interested in, are you planning to, those kinds of things, right? So for sellers, you might say something like this. You've never talked to the seller before. You don't know. Are you looking for a full market value when you sell your home? Or would you be interested in a cash offer? You don't know anything about this person and you don't know if they're interested or whatnot, but it starts the conversation because they might get back and tell you, I'm not even selling. Or they might get back and tell you, oh, I don't know anything about a cash offer. Can you tell me about it? Or they might get back to you and say, yeah, not interested in any of that. I just want the most for my house. And you'd be like, oh, when you can start that conversation. When are you thinking of selling? What can we do? Let's talk about it. Get the conversation going. So in this case, you might look and say, okay, I want to look for everyone in my database that is a seller, right? And you might say, this is the other important filter that I would do before you send a mass text is, are they subscribed to text messages? Because when you're doing a mass text, you can only text by page. Now, I went in the back door of my KV4 and I can only get 10 rows at a time, but you can get to 250 here. And so you can text 250 people at a time. If half of those people are not subscribed to text messaging, it's only going to send it to half of those people. And it's going to take you twice as long to get through your text message mass texting list. So I always say, anytime you're doing a filter for mass texting, you want to make sure they're actually subscribed to texting. Because if they're not going to get your text. Anyway, so let's make sure that they're subscribed to text messaging. And then what we're going to do is, my daughter just came home and I had to tell her, no, she can't come in here. You're going to say, you might say, I want someone who maybe the last contact you had, has this person responded by a text message? We wouldn't want that, right? But like the last time they were active, you could do something like that. The last time you texted them, maybe I texted them in the last month or the last year, like people that I haven't texted recently, those kinds of things. Maybe that you have a special hashtag for these people that you want to look for, or that kind of stuff. Maybe there's a specific source, maybe you buy seller leads from somewhere, and you want to use that source. Whatever it is, you can make this filter, apply it, and then you can go ahead and select everybody on the list. And obviously, if you're a team admin or if you are a company admin, you're going to see everybody's text messaging. So actually, or everyone's leads, and you cannot mass text those. You could actually, to make sure that it's yours, if you happen to be in that situation, is you could also make your signed user yourself here, and then you would only get everybody's text messaging, or only the leads that you're allowed to text message. So then you go to here, and we're going to hit mass text, right? Now let's go back here to our list. So are you looking for full market value, or would you be interested in a cash offer? I'm going to copy this over. There's a couple ways you can do this. You could just do it here and keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. But the other thing you could do is you could save some of these in your canned responses. So the first one I'm just going to do is, like, let's just say we're going to send it to this list. So I would say, think about it this way. If you're text messaging someone, it's not the same as an email. They're going to get it right then. Think about if you're going to send this right now. You could say something like happy Wednesday or good morning. Good morning. Obviously, you want to spell it right. Good morning. And the thing I like to use for mass texting is this merge tag. It's a little squiggly bracket. It's right like above your regular bracket if you shift on your keyboard. And if you do that, you can pull their first name in. Morning, first name. Are you looking for full market value when you sell your home? Or would you be interested in a cash offer? Also think about what people do when they text. You're doing this on your computer, but you want them to think you've just sent them this text message on your phone. So I could say, LMK, let me know. Because that's what people do. Unless you're sending this to really, really old people. They don't know, but short, like little abbreviations that people use in text messaging, LOL, LMK, those kinds of things, like for let me know, are not people. There's like is it professional? Is it not professional? And that's really up to you. But honestly, that's how people text these days. And it's much more believable to them, that you sent that text. The other thing you might want to think about is, not putting in the correct punctuation. So good morning. And maybe not making all these capitalizations, because when you're texting on your phone, it doesn't actually put that in. Usually it will capitalize the first thing you do, but not necessarily everything else, right? And it will kind of capitalize after a question mark or something. Let me know, Heather, or let me know whatever. Now, you don't need to say Heather with XYZ brokerage, blah, blah, blah. That will be in your opt-out messaging. It will have your name. You'll have your name and your whatever your company or brokerage is. And if you want to opt out, hit stop. So don't put all that in when you're just writing the text message. So let me know, Heather, right? The other thing you can do here is you can take this, copy it. I'm going to cancel this out. And you can go into your marketing, all marketing, go to your campaigns, go to your templates, and add this as a template. And so we can actually, oopsies, not an email template, a text message template. So I'm going to add this as a text template. think about making a list of these, just sitting down one day and doing this. You could even tomorrow go in and put all of these in, or whatever variation you have of these in, and you could call it something. Now, whenever I make a template in KV Core, because there are 8 bajillion templates in KV Core, put your initials on it. You'll never find it again if you don't. So I'm going to put HB for my initials, and then maybe I'm going to use something else that lets me know that these are text messages to kind of wake up. So I could put, mass text, and this is, what was it? I don't remember what I said. Okay, yeah. Cash offer, and you can even say this is for sellers, cash offer, right? I'm gonna put that right here. Now I've got this in here. So now if I want to do this once every 6 months or something for all my sellers, I can do that. I can add this, right? And so then when I'm in my CRM, the other nice thing about this, even if you're not doing it like a year from now, the other nice thing is if you're doing this page by page and you have, let's say, 1,000 people to send this to, you don't have to rewrite it every time. You can just go mass text. And this is kind of what you'll see if you didn't do the filter first for everything. These are unsubscribed, or they whatever. It'll say these people won't get it. And so you definitely want to do your filter right, because it just gets you through it faster. So I'm going to find it, HB mass text. Might not be in here yet. Sometimes when you put one in, it doesn't show up right there. Sometimes I have to like flush my cache or reset there. See if I can get it to. There it is, mass text. And then you can just do this every time you go through each page that you're going through. So that's kind of how you would send those out. And I really recommend picking a filter and sending it out. Do it once a week to, not the same filter, obviously, but do it once a week to generate these responses. I'm just going to go through a few other ideas with you. So these two up the top are for sellers. Another one is, are you planning to do any upgrades to your home, or do you plan to sell it as is? And they might be like, I'm not selling my home, or yeah, I've got to do XYZ before I sell, or, oh, really? Could I sell it as is? What does that do? How does that work? That you might get that response. Know that you are going to get a lot of stops, which they're going to opt out. You're going to get a lot of no thanks, whatever. That's okay. Like everybody says, well, I sent this max text out and then a bunch of people unsubscribed to my text messaging. They don't want your text messaging, and that's okay, right? Like, so whatever you do, whenever you send it out to them, they were going to unsubscribe anyway to your text messaging. And it doesn't unsubscribe them from the system. It only unsubscribes them from texting. You can manually resubscribe them if, sometime in the future, you've started talking with them on email and they're ready to talk to you again on text messaging. But even if they say, yeah, no, I don't plan to sell. Oh, really? I've got you in my database. I didn't realize, can I help you? What are your real estate plans? It just starts the conversation. Also, if you think about it, one other thing to say is that maybe it starts the conversation and you've asked them a follow-up question, they don't respond to you. You can call them. You've got their phone number, right? So like, hey, we were texting. And if you call from the smart number, again, this is coming from the smart number, they're gonna recognize that their phone's gonna recognize that number. And it's not gonna be, probably like, oh, suspected spam or whatever. Those are a couple things to sell to like sellers that are coming in, send to sellers that are coming in. This is kind of like to find your sellers, because a lot of times when people, sign up whatever lead gen that you're doing, so it's a buyer ad that you're putting out there, or a squeeze page for a list of properties, these people might actually already be sellers too. You just don't know it because they didn't come in that way. They came in looking at properties. So, when they get back to you and say, yeah, I do, well, then you're going to switch them from a buyer to a buyer and a seller. And then, oh, really? What would you like me to tell you, what you could sell your home for, blah, blah, blah. Let's find out what, try and get their address, that kind of stuff. So then another thing you'd like, is they're interested in something, and can you send them a list of something? Because remember before, you might have been like, here's a list of, and here's the link to said list. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying until you establish a connection with these people, it might be better not to. So like, for instance, it's summertime, and here where I live, where I'm right outside of Portland, nobody's got a pool except for like the super, super rich people, because you have this like tiny window of time in Portland to like actually go get in a pool, because it's just is not that warm. So we have a really hot summer, but it's like 2.5 months. And so no one maintains a pool for that. But a lot of places in the suburbs have a community pool. I know when I was looking, we bought our house last summer. That was kind of really high on our list, is we wanted to have access to a pool access. And we do actually. My kids have been there every day this week and it's been great. I'm just like, go to the pool, leave me alone. So, would you be interested in a list of homes for sale that have access to community pools? Think about your market, and there could be about a zillion of these kind of lists that you could send in. And I think let me see here. I will put this also in the chat. Now, I'm not gonna, now these are links, these are squeeze pages. This one right here, this is a great one to watch if you haven't yet. Christina did this one, I believe, and I'll put this in the chat. But this gives you a ton of ideas on different lists of homes that you can do. So again, you don't have to have that, you don't have to make that squeeze page before you send this out, but gives you some ideas of things you can send them or can offer to send them. The other thing you can do is, if they say yes to this, how would you like me to send that to you? Would you like me to email it to you, or would you like it in a text message? Maybe you don't have their email, you want it. You could say, oh, I'd be happy. They say yes. Oh, I'd be happy to email that to you. What's the best email to send this to you? Starting the conversation, getting a response, having multiple channels to talk to them on email and text message. The other thing you could do is you say, if you had their email already, you could say, oh, great, I just sent it to you. Let me know you got it. Did you get it? Because then that helps with your email deliverability. They're looking for that email. Oh, I didn't get it. Hey, check your spam. Is it there? So that it makes your email deliverability better as well. Finding out about their timeline. So it's summer right now, and this will really work for any season. So you can just adjust it. But hey, are you thinking about buying this summer? Or are you waiting till the fall? Are you thinking about buying this winter? Or are you waiting till the summer? Like whatever it is that whatever season that you're in, but it helps find out, are they even thinking about buying or selling? What's their timeline? And you can start that conversation, right? Another thing is finding out if they're available to talk to you. If you want to talk to somebody, you want to give them something that makes sense that they want to talk to you about, right? So you could say something like, I know the interest rates have ticked up recently. Are you available to chat with my mortgage specialist? So I have a resource for you. I'm giving you something about different financing options that might make it affordable. Because I think a lot of people right now think because the interest rates are so high, they can't afford a house. We were really worried about that. We got in like right before it went bananas, but some people just need to talk that through. And so letting them know that you have a specialist available to talk to them. Are they available to chat with you? Gets the conversation going. Another one is a great one is, real estate investments. So if you're looking for investors or something like that, hey, would you like a list of homes? Again, this kind of goes back to the list of homes here. Would you like a list of homes that would make great turnkey properties? Yes, I would. Okay. So now, you found out a piece of information from them. Not only are they looking to buy, but they're looking to buy an investment property. And they might say, no, I'm not looking for a great real estate investment. Okay, are you looking for your own home? Get that conversation going. Now they're not looking for an investment. Again, another, just if this is just another idea of a list that you can have. But, you know, hey, are you open to this? And if you actually listened to, there's another good one I can send you. We did one on scripts and kind of what to say to your leads, and I'll put that one in here too. It's really great. But she talks about some of the ways that gets people kind of off guard isn't the right word, but like they don't feel pressured, they don't feel worried. Hey, are you open to something? People don't like to be closed-minded. They don't like to be closed off to things. Oh, I'm open to things. You know, are you open to this? Talk to me. You know, so that actual wording was in some of those scripts and some of those ideas. And you might want to work some of those into all of your text messages. So those are just some ideas, but think about your market, think about what you can offer people to find out things about them or give them good resources and things that they need without sending them a link. And then when you do send that link back, it can be by the text message, or you can email it to them, which I think if you can email it is a good thing to either get their email or to make your email deliverability better for that particular person and have a second avenue of communicating with them, if that makes sense. So these were just some ideas that I came up with, but I thought that they would be helpful to you. And again, if you want to put them in your canned responses, great. If you want to just do mass texting, great. But think about the different filters. Oh, that's the other thing I want to say, like some of the different filters that you would use. Like obviously you would look for buyers like this. You might look at people that think about different sources that you have for stuff. You know, if people, maybe you did an investment ad, you know, and you have a hashtag for investments, or maybe you put a squeeze page out into the world that was for fixer-uppers and they came in with a fixer-upper hashtag, things like that. So whatever hashtags, whatever groups, whatever filter you can do, make it specific to them and make it useful to them. And I think you'll see a lot of people, you know, will start responding to you and getting those conversations started, because you can have all these people in your database, but if you're not communicating with them, you know, that's the point. So that's all I have for you guys today. Do I have any questions? And it can be about this, excuse me, or it can be about anything KV Core related. We can talk anything KV Core related as well. Oh, I forgot to send that last scripts video. I put it in there, but I didn't. There you go. In the chat for you guys. Any questions, ideas, muses, thoughts? Now's your time. I'm happy to go over anything you had questions about. Okay. Heather wants to know, Heather, I love it. Heather and Heather, child of the 70s, I'm sure. So when someone responds via text, does that text come to us on our cell phone or does it go to KV Core? Great question. What you want to do is you want to, it doesn't come to you specifically, it comes to you, it can come to your phone if you have the mobile app. So you want to download the mobile app, which I think right here, if you click download mobile app right here on your, if you don't have it already, either get it on Google or the Apple Store. But basically what it does is it's an app on your phone that lets you, you know, get into KV Core at any time, but you turn on your push notifications. And when you turn your push notifications on, then it will ding your phone. So if someone gets back to you and says yes or no or whatever, yeah, you got a response and you can start texting them back and forth there. So that's what you'd want to do. It also does go to KV Core, so it will be any incoming text will be on your dashboard. And in fact, if it would be easier for you to manage, so let's say you sent this out to like 1,000 people and you got like 25 responses. Maybe you don't want to sit there on your phone and respond to everybody and you want to do it online. If you come here and you go to new texts it will just pull up your most recent text messages, and one by one, you can just go through them and say, oh yeah, and just respond here and type it out if you'd rather. So that's another way you can do it. Robert wants to know what are the limitations of the mobile app. I mean, it's not, you don't have the full experience of your dashboard online. So I mean, I couldn't go over or really answer what exactly is specifically missing or not missing. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I would still come here and look at stuff. If you have a specific question about what you can and can't do on the app, I could answer that for you, but it's kind of a condensed version of your desktop experience, basically. Heather wants to know, what does the star rating mean on customers and leads? The star rating, that's a good question, is basically, it depends on how they came in, but we run what's called a validation. So every lead that comes in, because see where it says validation run, no additional details found, and that's because this is like a total fake lead that we put in here as a test. But it's going to run a validation to try and find that lead's phone number, email, name out about into the universe. And a lot of times it'll come back and say, yeah, this person is, you know, their name is this. If you don't have their name, it'll come back and say, yeah, we think they're like between 30 and 40 years old. It runs like a cursory validation out into the world. And so the stars have a lot to do with that. If we can find things about them that we feel like they're really a true person, then your star rating goes up. The other thing you can do is, if you want, you can rate them yourself. So I talked to this person, they're really ready to go. They're a really good lead, in my opinion. I'm going to rate them 5 stars so that I can see that. So either way. Can't seem to add contacts on the mobile, Robert says. I can't show you that because I'm on the computer. However, I'm 99% sure that we did a whole session on that. Let me find it right here. So it was about 2 months ago. I will send this, I'll put this in the chat for you, Robert, but this would be a good one to review. And if something looks on here and it's not working for you, then I would contact support. Haley wants to know, how quick are the property alerts that are sent to clients? Are they instant as the MLS One Home alerts? I don't know what MLS One Home is, but as soon as I think our website updates, it depends on everybody's MLS, to be quite honest with you. The longest I think it's supposed to take is 15 minutes to update. So it should probably be within like 15 minutes of getting that information from your MLS. The different MLSs are different. Some of them update immediately. Some of them update like within 5 minutes. It just kind of depends on how often they're willing to send us the information, if that makes sense. Okay. Oh, same question in both places. Okay, yeah. Does anybody else have any questions? Anything at all? Okay. Well, as always, it's a pleasure hanging out with you guys, and feel free to, I'm gonna put this actually, feel free, if you guys have not visited us on Facebook yet, I bet y'all have though. Well, not me. I don't want me. I want this. Sorry. I'll put this in here. This is our Facebook group. You're welcome, Robert. Go there, become a member of the group. You can ask any questions you want. And if you want, you can tag me. This is me in the group right here, because I post a bunch. You can tag me and say, Heather, will you do a success meetup on XYZ topic? And I'm happy to work it into the rotation. So always let us know kind of what you're looking to learn about and do. And oh, want to make sure you guys are aware right here. We're not going to be here tomorrow because our spring release webinar is happening. So if you have not registered for this, highly recommend that you do. It's all the new stuff that we have coming out, different functionality, different products, like different everything. And also I think they're going to talk about the Boomtown merger and all that good stuff. So definitely want to get on that and see all that's coming, because there's a bunch of different stuff that's happening. So go ahead and sign up for that. We will not have our success meetup tomorrow because we're doing this instead. All right, last call for questions. Cool. Well, I will see you guys in 2 weeks. I am off next week. We will not be here on Tuesday because it's 4th of July, but we will have it Wednesday and Thursday. And then I will be back the following Wednesday. So I hope everybody has a wonderful 4th of July. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, enjoy your country, and have a really great holiday. Hope everyone comes back in a couple weeks and sees me. Bye, everybody.